Hey everyone, this is Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. I'm going to show you today on how to do a 2008 Nissan Titan transmission fluid change and a filter change with the pan gasket. So as you can see right now, I've got the pan off, and I just finished doing the filter. So as you can see, they're 10 millimeter bolts all the way around, and I don't want to show you this because it was a little tricky. On 3 of these, they're actually nuts, 10 millimeter nuts, and so you have to hold them a little bit to get them back on, and that was a little tricky. But what you want to do to get the filter off is take this wiring out of the clip here, like so. And that way you can push this over and you'll be able to get to your nuts that way, or the bolts I should say. You should be able to take those bolts out. And so as you can see, this one's already changed out, and all it is just 10 millimeters all the way around. And so when you get that changed out, you can just push this back in where it goes. Like so. I don't know if I can. It could come out of there. Okay. So the next step is to get your pan gasket and your pan on. So I'll show you that. And again, those are 10 millimeter bolts, just small ones all the way around. Okay, here's the old pan gasket and the old transmission filter. This is what it looks like out of the vehicle. Like I said, this is the old one. And then this is the old pan gasket. And when I got this set, the new pan gasket has holes that are a little bit smaller. So what you can do, you can get your bolts started, and that way they're easy to line up. And you can use different things to keep this in place, but I like this idea of where the holes are a little bit smaller and the bolts actually will hold the pan gasket in place. So we'll get that put back on, and I did take these magnets out and cleaned up the metal debris that was around them. And there's 2 of them. There's one on each side. There's one there, and then there's one here. So you want to do that. Go ahead and clean those up, and then we can work on putting the pan gasket back on and the pan. So the next step is to put the pan back on. Oh, and I should have mentioned to begin with, the drain plug is right here, and you'll want to drain out all your fluid first before you get started on this project. Okay, I got the pan back on, and I tightened all the bolts around the pan at 70 inch-pounds, and yours may be different, but for the 2008 Nissan Titan it's 70 inch-pounds. And what I did, I just worked in a crosswise pattern, going from one side to the other and then crisscrossing it until I got all the bolts tightened. And you'll be able to tell which ones you tighten because the gasket will come out just a little bit, and so you'll know the ones that you've done. And then after that, I went ahead and tightened up the drain plug, and that one was 25 foot-pounds. And we'll go from there, and I'll show you what to do after that. Another thing I wanted to point out was when you take your filter off, go ahead and check it and see if there's any kind of debris or metal shavings in it. And this one looks fairly clean, so there's no need to worry on this one. And then just check your fluid too to see if there's any kind of burnt smell or if it's really dark, and you know, see how many metal shavings you get out of the pan around those magnets. So if it's pretty extreme, then you may have some wear going on in there. But I didn't get much, and there's hardly anything in this filter. So, and I didn't have a burn smell on the fluid either. So this transmission's in really good shape. I wanted to show you also, I started with an empty oil pan. That way I could measure what I took out of the transmission, or what came out of the transmission when I changed the filter. So what I used was an empty container, and then I transferred it over to some empty oil containers. And that way I could see, because these are 5-quart containers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and about a half a quart in the other one. So that's what I got out of this filter change and changing the transmission fluid. But what you could also do, you could refill it and then drain it again, and that way you can get some more old fluid out. So, this is Mike. Thanks for watching for Mike's DIY, and good luck on your next home or automotive project.